Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Corona Zombies. Yes, they went there, and we'll jump into that. And of course, to start off as usual, cast and crew and some other good information down below. And I will read what IMDb says the plot is, and then we'll jump into Corona Zombies here. Ditsy, damsels in distress, toilet paper, famine, inept world leaders, mass media gone wild, a virus from hell, in hordes of ghouls hungry for human flesh, combine in full moon's maniacal horror comedy hybrid Corona Zombies. So that's a lot to chew on right there. But this was put out by Full Moon, and I guess when I first, I received the press release at promotehorror.com, and when I first saw that, I was kind of amazed. I'm like, wow, they jumped on that awfully quick, and it kind of came at a time where you were seeing all these production companies and so forth shut down and stop production or halt post production, and people start quarantining. So I'm like, wow, how did they manage to make this film and put this together while people are stopping production? Didn't seem to make much sense. So I was very, very curious to see what they did here, besides for the fact to see Corona Zombies. I mean, that sounds exciting. I know they said, or some people said, it might be too early for this movie, and I think everybody has to make that decision on their own, and some people are more open and to observe a movie as a movie and don't have to take it so to heart. Whereas I know other people who may have been really, really hit hard by the virus and lost family members and friends or maybe having to be out there and working in all this craziness every day. So I can understand that as well. So I can understand both viewpoints. I keep an open mind when it comes to horror and realize it's a movie. I mean that's what it is, and so forth. And sometimes movies can be good and a relief and a release as well from what's going on. And I know speaking to horror fans, I know a lot of people have hunkered down and been watching lots of horror while in social distancing and quarantining and so forth. So this is just another one to add to your list there of movies to watch. And so anyway, there is some obviously a touch of realism in this movie. There are clips that many of us have seen, and there's some jokes that some of us may have made or made in a different way, especially about toilet paper and so forth. So those are some of the things you can expect in this movie. So how did they put this together? So I guess it's one main actress, and the film kind of opens with her coming home, and she's talking on the phone with her friend, and she really has no clue what is happening and about the coronavirus. And her friend tells her to turn on the news, and she turns on the news, and there's news obviously about the coronavirus and how it's taking over, and people are rummaging stores and taking all the toilet paper and so forth. So that part of it kind of sticks. They stick with her in and out, and that's really the only true, I guess, filmed part they did here. And I don't know if she did all that by herself in her own place or somebody helped her out, but that's basically how the movie starts, and then they go back to her every once in a while. Where the Corona Zombies come in and so forth, they did something very interesting here, and they basically plugged in two other movies, I believe, two B movie type movies, Hell of the Living Dead, I believe it is called, and Zombies versus Strippers. I believe those are the two movies that they used there, and they cut to different footage of both those movies, and pieced together their movie, The Rest of Corona Zombies, and basically they paint the picture of they visit a factory, I believe it is, or where they're supposed to, I guess, make soup. That's where they kind of go with it, that they're making soup. But that's where the zombie virus actually comes from. So they kind of start there, and then they introduce the Corona Squad, which is funny, and they do follow them a lot. And I guess it's I think it was 4 or 5 guys, military types, and at first they make it seem like they're raiding a drug lord, but in this case more of a toilet paper lord, if you want to call it. And from there, then they go and they more actively take on the zombies, and that's where the true zombie part of the movie comes in. And of course, this is all dubbed, so I think they did a pretty decent job with it, with the dubbing and so forth. I mean, maybe a little parts here or there were a little awkward, and of course when you first see what's happening, you're kind of like, what is happening here? And then as the movie goes on, it gets better, and you get in the flow of what's happening, and so forth. And so it is dubbed, so that's kind of how they pieced all this together. So my curiosity is piqued there, and to see how they did this, and were able to do this so fast. It wasn't a regular everything shot movie. It was it's kind of the opposite of found footage is going even live. This is just bringing in other movies and dubbing on top of it. And I kind of thought of it as almost an episode of Mystery Science Theater there. If you guys are familiar with Mystery Science Theater, you got the guy and the couple of robots there, and as the movie goes on, they're kind of just throwing the jokes out, or even talking for the characters. So it kind of reminded me of that, even though they're not really making fun of the characters, they're actually talking for them. But there are jokes in there. There are mentions, of course, of what's going on nowadays, and obviously a lot with the virus, and then the zombies, and they pick some interesting parts in the movies. If you've never seen either of those movies, maybe are not familiar with them, a lot of it's new. It could be new to you. I don't remember the last time I saw either of those movies, or if I had, so I didn't really recognize too much. And so some of the scenes, it's a little weird because with what they show, and then what they're talking about, is slightly different. But to my surprise, there's a little bit of blood and guts in it and so forth, which is good because that kind of gets your zombie fix and your blood and guts fix in there. So a lot of it is I guess from the Hell of the Living Dead, a little bit more, and showing with this Corona Squad, and going in search of the guy with the toilet paper, and then to try to take out some of these Corona zombies. And the other part of it is zombies versus strippers, and I guess that is trying to more localize it. And, it's another, like I said, the girl is watching the news, and that's kind of what she's watching here. And I guess they make reference to a bar or a strip club that has been overrun by these zombies, and I guess that's what the news is focusing on, and that's where they cut this footage of, so they show like all the craziness that's going on in this strip club, I guess. And so again, if you're looking for a little bit of your blood and your guts and so forth, they're killing the zombies in the strip club, and it's kind of a chaotic scene there, and that's what they're using there as well. And then so they'll run those two things, and then they'll jump back to the girl, and she's again talking with her friend or doing something in her house. And I think, she starts in the front, and then she ends up in her kitchen at one point. Later, towards the end of the movie, she ends up in the shower. And, not that I'm spoiling much, and there's not much to spoil since a lot of it is cut from two other movies. There's a little fun part that happens at the end with this girl, this woman. Towards the end, let those who haven't seen it and still want to see it find out what happens to her towards the end of this movie. And but she's pretty funny. She does a nice role there. Just trying to play the person who's clueless to what is going on, and getting filled in on it, and her reactions to what has happened. She's pretty funny, I would say. And I even think, some of the stuff they dubbed in is funny. And there's even a moment where they take footage of one of Trump's press conferences. So they stick that in really quickly. There's footage of the famous, obviously down here in Florida, so I've seen plenty of it. Footage of the scene where they show the spring breakers, who got all mad because they had to get off the beach, and they were mad that their spring breaks were ruined, and they didn't really care about the virus or didn't think it was going to affect them or whatever. So there's even they made a little bit of stardom there and made it onto this into this movie. So I thought that was funny, and of course, since I have seen that clip down here a couple of times, and had seen them on the news, it was funny to see again, and funny to see that they actually made it into this movie. For the people who were a little concerned or maybe didn't want to watch it, thought it would hit hard at home. Well, that kind of hit me because, I saw plenty of that on the news, being down here in Florida. And that some of that didn't happen too far from here, from where I am. So I thought that was funny. But overall, it is what it is. I thought it was interesting that what they did there. I guess, for those who enjoyed it and thought, that might be the end of the madness, apparently they're going to do, I guess it's a coronavirus part 2, but not really a corona zombies part 2, I'm sorry. But almost a part 2 to this, and I guess they're going to do something similar, I'm guessing, but I guess it's more tilted towards the Tiger King. So that should be interesting. I guess the Tiger King is part of what a lot of people have been talking about while they've been quarantined and so forth. And he's been a popular topic as well, so I guess he couldn't escape full moon and what they want to do to him. And I guess it's going to also have the same woman who is in this movie. She'll be in that one, and we'll see what they do there. But again, if you are not offended and whatever, and are looking for maybe a little bit of the light-hearted side of this, and you can jump on this one and catch this one. It's certainly something different. You don't see too many movies where 2 other movies are thrown in it and dubbed. You don't see that much, so it's funny parts. I think and it's certainly something relatable in a certain way. Fortunately we don't have zombies running in the streets. I continue to say that that's what's missing in this apocalyptic sort of times that we're in. I always thought if we were going to have this kind of thing, we'd have zombies. We see so many movies with zombies, and I feel well prepared for zombies if they're anything like the movies. But there are no zombies to be found. So I guess you'll find them here in this movie. So again, fun, a little bit different. It may take a few minutes to kind of get into and catch what's going on, but I think once you get rolling in this movie, it's okay, and it's not terribly long movie either. I believe it was just around an hour or so. So again, it's not going to drag on you or anything like that. And like I said, the part that's more real, the woman in the beginning, she's pretty fun and entertaining in the small segments that she gets along the way, and it has a nice conclusion there. So with that, I think I'm going to give this one 2.5 pools of blood. Of course, that's out of 5. I hope that for those of you or maybe pass on it right now, maybe somewhere down the road, and when time settles down, you can at least catch it then and kind of reflect on it. But it's certainly something out there for the horror fans that are willing to catch the movie. And don't forget, part 2 will be coming soon. So with that is Corona Zombies. Again, cast, crew, and some other information down below, including where to find me, horrors.goryreviews.blogspot.com, and also the social media is all down below. And feel free to comment on the video as well, whether you liked the movie, didn't like the movie. If you're curious on more information where you can find the film, of course that's being done by Full Moon Pictures, and I can obviously help you out with that if you can't find the film. But anyway, with that, since we're still quarantining and so forth, be safe out there, horror fans, and I'll catch you on the next review.